Hi YouTube, Watchify here with another video. I've got here with me today two models of the recently released Seiko 38mm 5KX watches. The black dialed SRPK29 and the teal dialed SRPK33. These watches, along with an orange and a cream color dial, were released on May 12th of 2023. I've had mine for over a week, and I'll provide my honest opinion on them in case you're interested in buying one. Basically, these watches are just smaller versions of the already well-known Seiko 42mm SRPD or 5KX 100-meter water-resistant sports watches that Seiko released in 2019. Those, along with the smaller 38mm SRPK models, are in the Seiko 5 lineup. They have a dive watch look, but can't be considered true divers. At best, these watches would be suitable for snorkeling and the swimming pool. They come in the standard Seiko 5 packaging with the black outer cardboard box and the gray inner box with a black pillow. I found a small flyer directing me to the Seiko website to download the instruction manual and to register the watch. There was also a warranty card in the box, and these watches come with a 3-year warranty from Seiko. I was excited to hear Seiko was releasing a 38mm version of this design, and I knew I was going to pick up at least one. I opted for both the teal dial and the black dial for different reasons. I like the shade of color Seiko used on this teal-dialed SRPK33, and I've heard others complain about Seiko's choice on using a gold-colored hour and minute hand on it. But I actually like how they look together with the dial color and the gray second hand. I feel it's going to be the most popular colorway out of the four. I also wanted the traditional and classic black dialed version just because it's simple and easy to coordinate with whatever I want to wear. In a previous video, I had said I was on the hunt for a discontinued 38mm SKX013. So although there are some significant differences between the SKX013 and this new model, it's close enough for me. The other thing to mention is that the black dialed model I have here is basically a shrunken down version of the larger SRPD55, whereas I can't find a larger SRPD model with the same teal colored dial as this SRPK33. The case measurements on these watches are 37.8 millimeters for the case size on my calipers, a lug-to-lug measurement of 43 millimeters, and a case thickness of 12 millimeters. The lug width is going to be 20 millimeters. Of note is this watch, the case thickness is 1 millimeter thinner than the SKX013, and I think that's because the bezel on this watch is not as thick. Speaking of the unidirectional bezel, it retains the 5KX/SKX design on its outer edge, and I find the rotation on these two is satisfying and clicky without sounding ratchety. These come with a flat Hardlex crystal with a beveled outer edge, an unsigned push-pull crown, and a screw-down see-through case back, just like the larger 5KX cousin has. The insert is aluminum and continues the 5KX design with numerals at every 10 minutes and dots only from 0 to 20 minutes, which differs from the discontinued SKX inserts that had dots all the way around the insert. In terms of the automatic movement, no surprise that the Seiko 4R36 makes another appearance in this new line. It's a no-nonsense 40-hour power reserve, 21,600 beats per hour movement that hacks in hand winds and has little to no decoration on it. My teal dial is only running 1 second a day slow on wrist, which is pretty unbelievable, while the other one is running 10 seconds a day slow, which is still not bad. Taking a closer look at the dial, you'll see an Applied Seiko logo with the 5 badge and the automatic wording being printed. The day-date window is unframed, but the cutout is beveled. All 4 watches in this SRPK line have white day and date wheels. with English and Spanish as the second language. If you got the Japan model of this watch, which are the ones with model name that start SBSA, the alternate day of the week language is going to be kanji. The other thing of note is both of these SRPK models have made in Japan at the bottom of the dial, which I understand doesn't necessarily mean they were actually made in Japan. For the indices, unless my eyes are playing tricks on me, I feel they're outlined in gray on this SRPK33. The green Lumibright is strong on both, as you would expect. The hands are just shorter versions of the same hands that come on the larger SRPD. I think the cream, teal, and orange dialed models share the same second hand, which is dark gray throughout, with this black dialed SRPK29 being the only one with both a black and a silver side, and that's to better contrast against the dark dial, of course. The chapter rings are pretty standard, but I'm impressed with how they color matched it to the dial on the teal colorway. For the stock metal bracelet that comes with these watches, it's the same split pin, hollow end link, and pressed metal fold-over clasp that we've become familiar with and comes standard on most Seiko 5s and sub mid-tier Prospex models. It's an oyster style and the clasp is signed. I find this bracelet to be acceptable and I feel it goes well with the watch. I will say that I really wish it had a third micro adjustment hole though. For my 6 3/4 inch wrist, I had 5 links taken out. Using the outer adjustment hole, the watch wears a bit snug during the day. Actually during some parts of the day it feels snug and others it feels fine. If I had added a link and used the inner hole, the watch would wear loose, which is something I don't like. And now on to cost. These retail for $325 US, as you may have seen earlier. You may consider that a bit much for a watch with these specs. I normally purchase my watches online, but for these two I actually got them from a dealer located around 45 minutes from me who had just gotten in a small quantity. I got to see the watches before purchasing and I got to check for any quality control issues before making the purchase. I bought these watches for $260 each, which amounts to a 20% discount off of retail. His shop had a large selection of Seikos, Citizen, and G-Shock, so I'm definitely going to go back. He offered to size the bracelets, which is something I know how to do myself, but I still took him up on the offer. He even set the time and date for me on both of these watches. And it felt good to support a local small business for once instead of just buying online. I was under the impression that Seiko was going to make these widely available just like the 5KX models have been, but so far these are hard to find. I don't see any on Amazon or at Macy's department store. They are not available for purchase on the Seiko USA website currently either. They can be found on eBay, but the lowest price I found was just $10 under retail price. I was originally going to purchase the Japanese model from Sakura Watch's website, but they still don't have them in stock as of May 20th. And that's a shame because they actually have the lowest price that I've found for these. I really hope Seiko develops this SRPK line and makes them widely available soon for others to buy. Something I noticed is that I could have sworn the retail price for the SRPD line was $200, or it used to be $275 up until recently. But now I can see that it's gone up to $325, so it makes sense how these new models share that same retail price. If you like this style of watch, but the 42mm version was too big, I'd say this would be a great watch for you. I hear things are trending towards smaller watches, and I can see why. After wearing this 38mm model for a while, going back to my 5KX made me feel like I was wearing an oversized watch, even though it's only 42mm. I still like the 42mm 5KXs, but I feel this smaller 38mm is the sweet spot for this design. And now I know why the SKX013 had such a cult following. These SRPKs can't replace that SKX013, but I'm still glad Seiko came out with them. Sure, they don't have sapphire, they are only 100 meters water resistant, and the bracelet isn't fancy, but I think these watches are just trying to be a simple, affordable, and well-built sports watch with a bit of flair, and in that I think Seiko has succeeded. That'll wrap up this video. I hope you found it helpful or interesting. If you're considering buying one of these 4 watches, let me know in the comments which colorway you prefer. Feel free to leave a like or even consider subscribing also. I wanted to thank you for watching, and hopefully I'll see you in another video.